All right, look at that. Um, hmm. Back to Zoom. Done. Okay. Well, welcome, Homish Rashi. We are the third reading in Parshas Chukas. And today we get the story of Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses hitting the rock instead of talking to it. Well, let's get right into it. V'daber Hashem el Moshe Lamor, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, Kach esamata, take your staff, v'hakil sa'ida, and assemble the congregation, Ata b'Aaron achicha, you and Aaron, your brother, v'dibarta el Selah. And he says here differently than he said 40 years earlier. He says, speak to the rock, lay mayhem before their eyes, and also and it will give its water, right? Jews were thirsty. They're in the desert. It says, and you'll bring out for them water, sella from the rock. And you will give drink to the entire congregation, or the congregation, and their livestock. Rashi, as Be'iram, here we see, they weren't asking for their cattle, they were just asking for themselves. But God had compassion on their property also, on their animals. Moshe took his amati, he took the staff and Lifnei Hashem before God, as he commanded him. And he called Moshe, and he congregated Moshe Aaron, the congregation, he congregated them, El Pnei Hasela, in front of the rock. And he said to them, listen now, rebels. Is it possible from this rock will we draw water? Rashi. This is one of the places that a small area holds a large area of people. That's what he said. All the people should come. That's a lot of people, right? So it's one of the times that we see that a very small area would be able to hold many people. Is from this rock will water come out? Will it come out, water? Since they did not recognize it, because so Rashi's explaining here, which is interesting, is that they didn't recognize the rock because the rock was moved and it went and sat amongst other rocks in Shalakaber when the well departed. And the Jewish people were saying to them, to Moshe and to Aaron, Malachen, they would say to them, what's the difference in you? From which rock are you going to draw the water for us? And what's the big deal? That's why he said that they're rebels, obstinate. Okay, translates here as obstinate. Sarvanim, obstacles is sarvanim. Lashi abani shirtim. In Greek, it's a term of fools. Meim al esme rehim. Asela hazeh shlein nistavo alav neitzil hamayim. Can you draw water from the rock that you weren't commanded from? In other words, It was a specific rock that was commanded from, and it's not just any rock. You're fools, obstinate and fools, rebels, obstinate fools. Yara Meisha, and Meisha raised his yada, his hand, Yachzasela, and he hit the rock, the Mateo, with his stick, with his staff. Hamaim, 2 times. They ate some mime, the mime did, and water did come out. Rabim, a lot of water. Ateshta Eda Obira, and the congregation and the livestock drank. Rashi. Hamaim, 2 times. Why 2 times? Lefi Shabirishena Lo Yaitzi Alatipam, because in the beginning, and at first, it only came out little drips and drabs of water. Why? Because God didn't command that he should be hit. But God said to speak to the rock. And they did speak to the rock, but they spoke to a different one. And nothing came out. So they said, maybe we have to hit it, like we did originally, as it says in Exodus, that they hit the rock then. Right? So now that very rock that they were supposed to speak to, they came upon, and so they hit it. I guess that they didn't realize that it was a different one than what they first spoke to, and nothing occurred. Or just a little bit came out. Hashem said to Moshe, Aaron, Yan, since you didn't believe in me, to sanctify me, Israel, in front of the eyes, in front of the children of Israel. Therefore, you will not come into the congregation. You will not come together with his congregation. To the land that I have given to you. You're not going to come into the land. Yan lo yamantim, since you didn't have faith, be in me. So this verse reveals that if it wasn't for this sin, Bilvad alone, they would have entered the land. In order that you shouldn't say, that they had sinned. Shouldn't say that they had the decree upon them like the rest of the generation that was decreed upon them because of the spies. Sorry, 1 second. So Oven Meishvarin, Halayatsain Rabaki Shachi. Hashemizu. So wasn't, if the sheep and the cattle were slaughtered, a more grievous sin than this? Let's go further. Just Ella Levisha V'Seiser. Kisach Alava Kosev saying Kan Shivamayim called Israel Lokasig Alava Kosev Mifnei Kiddush Hashem. So there was another time that they was more grievous in the sheep and the cattle that was slaughtered that we had earlier. But that was done privately. And this was done publicly in front of all the Jewish people. So therefore, this is more grievous in the end. In other words, anything that's done in the public eye that brings down the faith that people will have in God is more grievous than even if it's done privately. Lakti Sheni, Shiloh Department you to sanctify me, because if you would have spoken to the rock, Vahitsi, and water would have come out, then I would have been very much sanctified in the eyes of the people. But I mean, and they would say, Ma'asel is just, what is this rock? She'ena medaber, doesn't speak, Venishmeh, doesn't listen. And it's also, and it doesn't need any livelihood. It doesn't need to come on to God for livelihood. And yet it fulfills the word of God. Oh no, all the more so we need to do that. Mendel, it's here now. I think so. I think it's here. It's a wheelchair. Uh-huh. Okay. Right. In other words, if a rock does the will of God and it gets something for it, it has, right? We all the more so. Therefore, you're not going to be shvua by an oath. In others, the word therefore is like an oath. These are the waters of dispute. That the children of Israel contended, they disputed as Hashem, God, the Kadesh Bam, and he was sanctified through them. Last Rashi. These are the waters of dispute. These are the waters that were mentioned elsewhere. As Elo Ro, it's the Nagi Pare. This is what the astrologers of Paro, they saw. What did they see? Shemeshim Shel Israel, like in mind, that the Redeemer of the Jewish people is going to be smitten by water. That's why in the beginning of Exodus, they made a decree. Pharaoh made a decree. That any boy that's born will be thrown to the water, because the decree was going to be on the water. That's what they saw. They didn't realize it's going to be many years later, 80 years later, that it will be through water, through these waters, and that's his downfall. Mikadish Bam, he was sanctified through them. The Moshe and Aaron passed on because of these waters. When God makes a judgment over his sanctified holy ones, people are feared and they are sanctified. Is over the people, like as it says, awesome is God because of the holy ones. And that's what it means with the saying, those who are close to me, I will be sanctified. Unbelievable that this is what we're learning today on Gimel Tammuz. Wow. Today's Gimel Tammuz. I'm on the way to the Ohel of the Rebbe. And Baruch Hashem, we're able to learn. Tanya, we will only be able to learn. We'll see. I might be able to do it like as I'm on the plane. We'll see. But amazing. This is a story of Moshe not being able to enter in the land, about his demise. And this is Gimel Tammuz. Folks, make sure you write into the Rebbe. Please do it yourselves. You have your own personal relationship with the Rebbe. You can email at Rebbe, REBBE, at ohelchabad.org. OHELCHABAD.org. All right. I'll put it onto the messenger when we are going to have the time.